So my name is Anna. I currently live in the Brainerd Lakes area of Minnesota, but I grew up in central New York, Syracuse area, south of Syracuse. I did a lot of jobs working with schools, kind of nature center things, and after our son was born, I was working at a Waldorf school, and taking my son to daycare and going to the school to be with other kids was kind of the first time that I was like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I spending time with other people's children and not my own? And so that was kind of the idea that I wanted to start a business or do something different. I didn't have any entrepreneurs in my family. So my partner and I started a painting company. He had been a painter his entire life, so like 20 years at that point. We had a check in our hand before we even had a business bank account. Like, it was crazy. And I had an infant, and I would take the baby with me to painting estimates, and I would walk around houses with people. And I remember being like, okay, this is gonna be $3,000, like, is that, and I just had like a weird money thing. It was really hard to do, but we did great. That was kind of like when I fell in love with like business ownership, and I really wanted to grow it. He did not. And so I was like, all right, well, I need something to do. I eventually discovered that once we got up to the Brainerd Lakes area, there was a huge need for cleaners, especially Airbnbs. So that was kind of what I originally started. And then after meeting Logan, kind of transitioned into doing residential cleaning. So that's kind of like the background, I guess, of like how I sort of got into this. So I started the cleaning business in April 2021. Kind of the tail end of COVID was still happening a little bit at this time. And I started working with Katie and Logan in March of 23. So like 2 years later. I heard about them from Tamara Hensley that I met in another coaching program. And then also you guys, so Jessica and Lucas had actually started working with Logan. And so then I remember like checking in with you every now and then, and I was like, what's that guy's name again? And eventually kind of started looking him up. So the problems that I was facing in my business at that time, some of this stuff I wasn't even totally aware was a problem, but basically I was growing a seasonal business, not a year-round business. Winters were very hard, kind of hanging on by a thread. Summers were a lot more productive. I kind of realized I was working with the wrong business coach at that time. I was definitely in denial about what was actually required of me in order to grow a business. Lack of direction, lack of clarity, lack of confidence, but I knew that this was still what I wanted. I definitely struggled and still do a little bit with people pleasing. So that led to me dealing with problematic, entitled employees. And I would definitely sacrifice my own business for the employees because I just had no idea what I was doing. So what I was trying to do to solve these on my own, I've definitely tried to just hire other people to do the work for me, even though I didn't know how to guide them, how to hold them accountable, how to set any kind of standard for them, how to set any kind of goal or vision for them. I was just kind of like, you can figure this out, right? Okay, great. I'll be over here. I'd worked with coaches in the past. I just hadn't found the right one yet. I was trying to network and connect with other cleaning business owners. So, I went to a live event, tried to meet some people there, and I was definitely avoiding a lot of the problems too. That's a strategy that I love to use. So what made me commit to working with Logan and Katie? I'd already spent literally thousands of dollars on 2 other coaches with very little progress in my business, and I would say little to no personal development in myself at all. And I kind of told myself, like, the problem must be me. Like, I've already gone through 2 really reputable coaching companies. If my business isn't growing now, then it probably never will. Like, it must just be me. Maybe it's not possible. I'm not going to pay for any more coaching unless I can just buckle down and do the work. Luckily, Logan had a lot of free stuff, so I watched a lot of that and showed up to some of his free calls. And I kind of just started realizing how trustworthy you and Katie were and how relatable you were. And the difference between you and kind of the other coaches that I've participated in is that you were actively growing your business, kind of like before our eyes, and sharing that process and being like really honest and vulnerable about that. So I felt like I could see myself kind of in your shoes, and I believed that I could really get help from working with you. So kind of after watching them grow a little bit and kind of hearing about some of the people's experience in Dyad, September of 2023 is when I actually invested in coaching with you guys. So I kind of started following you in March, but didn't actually invest in Decade in a Day until later that year. So my monthly revenue when I started was $10,600. Nearly 100% of this income came from seasonal vacation rentals, and 100% of my employees were seasonal part-time kids who didn't care about showing up for work. So now my current revenue this May in 2025 is $57,000, and I have So I have 100% residential clients and all full-time employees. So what skills did I learn to unlock such huge growth? The most impactful skill has been and continues to be consistency, and it also impacts every other skill that I've learned and continue to learn. So the hard skills of tracking important numbers on the vision sheet consistently, making the right number of outbound calls consistently, closing sales consistently, optimizing Facebook ads and marketing, and hiring and training. They were like partially getting done before working with Logan and Katie, not with any kind of structure. Soft skills that I'm still learning are being able to confront things more quickly rather than avoid, which, I still struggle with that one. Doing things even when I don't want to consistently, showing up for myself and my team consistently, and getting clear and kind of continuing to hang on to clarity about like what the standards are for the business, what the goal is for the business, and keeping the team and myself aligned with what those standards and goals are. Once I started doing that, I had a lot more confidence in leading the team, and the team is really what is going to drive like all of the revenue production. So that has been huge. So my current goal for my business to reach $83,000 a month consistently. I want to hire, train, and mentor office staff within the next few months or so. And I just want to keep getting better at keeping myself and my team aligned with the goal and the standards. What advice would I give to somebody thinking about committing to coaching with Logan and Katie? Working with them is not a situation where you can just throw money at the problem and expect it to just be fixed. This is not just something that you like pay for and then it's done for you. Only invest with them if you're prepared to actually put in the work and become a better leader, person, just better all around. If you follow their system and their coaching advice and you're prepared, I didn't think I was gonna cry, but if you're prepared to look yourself in the mirror and actually change, you won't only have a growing company, you'll have a community of supportive friends who've not only achieved what you're aiming towards, but have surpassed the $1 million goal and are now working on opening second locations. You'll have a community of peers who are grinding and growing right alongside you. And you'll have a community of peers who are learning about successfully building generational wealth. So if you don't want any of that, just keep scrolling. Thank you guys.
Anna's a stud. If you guys haven't got an opportunity to connect with Anna, it's so inspiring. And I've told you this before, I don't tell everybody else this, but like I see a lot of Katie in you and just very much want it, just longer time horizon. Like you've been in this business for 4 years, Just remember the business progress, it follows the personal progress. And so the reflection of that data is just how much you have grown as a person. Just have a lot of grit and tenacity, and like you clearly want it. Like you've gone through a lot of things, you'll continue to go through a lot of things, and your consistent persistence will be what allows you to hit your next goal, A3K, and then continue to go on. More people like you need to have more resources, you need to have more money, more time, because you can help a lot more people.
How many times have I avoided any conflict or confrontation because it's uncomfortable? You're now utilizing that, and instead of avoiding, you're being persistent and consistent, and even tactfully change the story that you're telling yourself, and just a casual 6x